This is one of those supposed panel discussions that they have on these morning magazine shows on the Today Show here, where the host of Today will sit with other media personalities and they pretend to be discussing some item of the day as though it's a journey of discovery. When in actual fact, they're just reading a script. And this is Sarah Lamarquand. Now, she says something really ridiculous here, but she's also part of Channel 9. And Channel 9, well, let's have a look at see who they're owned by. So we'll just have a quick look at the 9 annual report, 2018, the latest one. And here's a list of the 20 largest shareholders. This is the latest report, and there it is, HSBC, the bank. They call themselves custody nominees, but that's just a front for their bank. Then Berger too, and then you've got JP Morgan, they're a bank, and Citicorp, they're a bank. So your top 4 shareholders, 3 of them are foreign banks. But yeah, it's an interesting sort of path to go down. Why don't we have a look at the ANZ Bank? And here's the ANZ's 2018 annual report. It's 100 and something pages. It's all publicly available. Have a quick look here. And here's the top shareholders. We've got, there we go, in order. HSBC, JP Morgan, and Citicorp. And there's even a few more banks following on. But they're your 3 largest, 24%, 15%, 6.84%. You wouldn't mind getting away from them, eh? So let's go from the ANZ. Look, go with the Commonwealth just to get away from them. And here's the 2018 latest report for the Commonwealth Bank. And, oh no, same 3 again. HSBC, JP Morgan, Citicorp in order. What about the same percentage of shares as the ANZ? That's all right. There's 2 more banks. We can get away from these guys. We've arrived at Westpac. Here's their 2018 report. Strength, Service, Trust. Good Aussie bank. Oh, I can't believe it. Same 3 again. Top 20 shareholders with about the same percentage. HSBC, JP Morgan, Citicorp. All right, so here's the NAB. Now, surely not all 4 banks are going to be owned by those 3. Well, that is a surprise. HSBC, JP Morgan, and Citicorp, all with about 22%, 13%, and about 5 to 6%. I mean, what are the chances that these 3 international banks would hold the exact same shareholding values of shareholdings in all 4 of the major big banks? Now, I was quite alarmed to see that our 4 biggest Australian banks are actually owned by international banks. And, I didn't know it was publicly available information, but I didn't know if I looked it up. You think perhaps maybe the media might have reported it. But, of course, they're majority owned by the same banks. So let's just see if this panel discussion, of which they're all owned by the international banks, goes down the track of perhaps favouring their owners being the international banks.
What we have to do, get ready to roll your eyes, is all of us need to be paying for this. Healthy people pay to subsidise hospitals. All of us able-bodied citizens happily contribute to the NDIS. As a heterosexual person, I campaign for same-sex marriage. It doesn't matter whether you're a parent or not. It doesn't matter if, like me, your children are not of childcare age anymore. My children are at school. The onus is on every single taxpayer to contribute and overhaul this system. It's not just going to take millions, it's going to take billions of dollars, and it's time that we did it.
So what this banker mouthpiece is proposing, and she does this all the time, she's got the blonde hair and she's acting all very feminine and also caring and nurturing, and as a community, if we just care, we must look after each other. But what she's suggesting is that everyone, is that the taxpayer, the whole of the community, subsidise the wages of people who have got children who they can't afford to. Now, with education, it's all right that we all provide money for education because that educates the kids. That's value adding the kids. That supposedly the theory goes that they become productive members and we get a return. You don't get a return of some kid's nappy being changed by some childcare worker. By the way, they want to up their wages to about $100,000. So this is another banker-instituted program that they want to push the politicians on to send us further into debt to benefit themselves.
Well, one of the amazing things about it as well is that if you consider the amount of money that's being spent here, and when you hear that $133 a day, you think, oh, that's a lot. No, that's the increase. An increase of that per day, per person is just absolutely mind-boggling. You would think that the childcare workers would be millionaires. Well, they are being paid pretty ordinary wages as well.
Half
So there's
the national average
there's
of a wage.
so much money being pumped into this sector by parents. But the people who are doing all the hard work that we value so much, they're walking away with a pittance. So
Yeah, it
there's
just
a lot
doesn't
of
add
money
up.
in there somewhere.
So this bug-eye little mouthpiece, the liar, Ben Fordham, what he's doing here, the part of the script that he's reading, is to have a go at the plight of the poor childcare workers, because they want to pay, they want us taxpayers to pay these childcare workers, who are all majority women, over 100 grand to change nappies in a childcare centre.
No.
But it's not
But
landing
the whole
where it
model
belongs.
is broken, and that's why we can't just be, tinkering at it. We have to completely overhaul it and take it seriously. Parents are going to keep working. We can't just say, why should I pay for your children? Like I say, that is an incumbent responsibility on all of us. It's part about living in a society and taking care of each other.
Yeah.
There's Sarah Lamarkin acting all like it's all about the kids as a community. Don't you care about the kids? She says there, why should we pay for other people's children? Yeah, why should we, by the way? And it's all about keeping women in the workforce. So if you're a bloke and, you pay taxes or, and maybe you're trying to find another job or whatever, well, you're going to pay for her to so that she can then enter the workforce and compete with you, as well as lose money feeding her kid.
Well, let's keep pressuring our politicians on this because, as you say, it is a huge issue, arguably a crisis.
Yeah.
So there you go. We've got to pressure the politicians because Georgie just looked at us very seriously. She said that it's a crisis. It's a crisis that people can't afford childcare and they may have to stay at home and maybe budget a little bit. Yeah, that's a crisis. They're saying it's that. They're conflating it as that, exaggerating it as that, so that they can then, the bankers can then implement, what did she say, a huge overhaul. Well, and then it's going to cost billions. That's what it's about.